Come on, show me a picture. All right, there we go. Now it's showing me a picture. Wanted to make sure the stream wasn't just streaming black. Yeah, so I started working on a comment system, and then I thought, why not just stream what you're doing? It's been a while since I've done this. So I haven't gotten much so far. This is the new Jaeger co-site, by the way. This is what will be the future kind of lesson page. So down at the bottom here, I haven't gotten too much so far. So far, I'm just printing out the post ID along with just a text area there. And this is what I have going on so far. So one thing that I know that I want to add is, I just closed it, but if we look at the database, so for the comments so far, I have an ID, name, post ID, user ID, reply to, state, identity, body, create that and updated that. But I would like to have, in addition to just the post ID, and another ID that is the parent, the root parent comment ID, so that you can nest comments. And so that I can pull them all down in one tree. So I want to add that, and then I also want to add a level. So let's go add those in really quick. So let's create a migration here. I always forget to put the -- table, but that's all right. Doesn't take long to do that. Comments, add root. There it is. Okay, so we want to change this from create to an alter table. The table name there is going to be comments. And then instead of all of this fun stuff, we can get all of that out of there and add in our column. So table dot integer, and then we'll call this root parent ID. This should have a parent ID too. Evidently, I did not have that in here whenever I ported it over. Or maybe that's what reply to was. Yeah, that's probably what it was. All right, so root parent ID, unsigned. References, ID, in table, comments, and we'll make that non-nullable. All right, and then we also want to add a level. So integer, we'll call the level index, not nullable, and default that to 0. Okie doke. And then down here, this schema dot alter table, and then we want to just drop those columns. So I like doing this. What did I do wrong here? Oh yeah, table name. There we go. All right, so I like doing the columns one at a time whenever I drop them, just in case anything needs to change in the future. It's just easier to visually see that, what's going on here. So root parent ID, and then we'll do another one. Drop column for level index. Okay. So, and then I also like to just check and make sure. This is my first time using whatever this is, this extension. So I don't know how to check and see what the structure of, or even if it can do that, but I'd like to check and see what the reply, where's my comments? Oh, I probably got to refresh. It's probably not, yeah, there we go. All right, so I want to check and see what the structure of the reply to is, make sure that it's an int, and yes, so that is the parent ID, quote unquote. Okay. I'm probably change that in the future. All right, so then let's go ahead into our comment model. I did that backwards, but here it is. And let's add that in here. So reply to, add at column, public root parent ID of type number, And then we had a level, put the level index after the IDs. Column public level index of type number. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that migration so that that's in there. There we go. Okie doke. And let me go ahead and refresh that, make sure that, I don't know if that updated or not. All right, well, we'll just hide that for now. All right, and then let me go back to the lesson page here, and we can start stubbing this out a little bit more. So actually, I need to go into the comment component that I have going on here. So far, this is all that it is. It's just a text field that I'll eventually make hidden. Just wanted to make sure that the post ID got populated in there, okay? And then we have just a simple form input of type text area. So then I will just add a button type submit for right now. We're just going to do this as a normal form action for right now, and then later on I'll switch it over to using API requests. All right, so we'll just have that as that for right now, and then we'll do our end and submit comments fine for now. Okie doke. So if we come back over here, we should have a simple form here. All right, go ahead and just add a H4 font semi-bold, margin top 6, and that'll work for right now. Okie doke. So that's what we got going on so far. We need a way to save it next. So we'll go ahead and I don't know if I have a comments controller or not. Uh-oh. Let's see. There we go. So let me go check and see if I do. So, yep, right there. Alrighty. And let's see. We'll want to store. Oh, wrong keyboard shortcut. There we go. And so we're going to want request response, yes, and probably auth. All right. So let's go ahead and let's also make, nah, we'll worry about validation later. So const, let's see, we have the post ID, and then we have the comment, which I didn't give that form input a name yet, so I need to remember to do that. Request dot, and let's see, I think it's only, and we'll do post ID and comment, and then we will await. I'm going to add a little to-do note here to validate. Okay, and we'll do const comment equals await comment dot create. I don't think that imported. Let me go ahead and import it. Okay, models comment. There we go. Dot create. All right, and so, well, let's just switch this to data for right now. That'll make things a little bit easier to switch over whenever I do add validation. And we'll spread that out, and then we'll also want to add in if there is an authenticated user. I think it was called user ID. Yes. All right, so user ID is auth user ID, and we'll want to, there we go. All right. And then for right now, let's just go ahead and return response redirect back. So response redirect back. All right, so very simplistic to start. So let's go define that route. Route dot, and this will be a post comments controller.store as comments.store. There we go. And let's go break that up into our form. So, whoops, did I just type something? I did. Route comments.store. And then I need to remember to put a name on here. Comment. Actually, I think that's supposed to be body. Yes. So we'll change that to body. Have that match what it is in the database. Which means I need to go back over to here. And nope, I actually don't, because I switched that to data. So we should be good there. And so this should just, in this simplistic form, go ahead and save that into the database. So let's go ahead and test it out. So we have, actually, let me make sure I have all my not nullable stuff taken care of here. ID is good, post ID is good. State ID, we don't have a default on that, do I? All right, I need to remember what that was. And then an identity. So that is what I use if there is not a user ID. And yeah, so we'll need to take care of those two. I'm just gonna see if, let's take a look at the enum, see if we have so we have states. So let's go ahead and import those. So import states from app enums states, and let's drop this down into a new line. All right, and let's give that a state ID, states dot. Yeah. All right, so this will depend. So if there's an auth user, so auth.user.id, then just go ahead and make it public. Otherwise, we want it to be, let's see, did I do in review? In review probably makes the most sense. So if it's an unauthenticated user posting an anonymous comment, it should go into a review state where it needs to be approved first before it goes to being public. So that's what that's all about. And then, what was the other one? Identity. All right. So I don't remember what I had going on for that for authenticated users, and then I had a separate service that kind of generated out a unique name. So for right now, I'll just do ASDF on that just to get stuff saving. Okay, so we should now be able to go ahead and, this is a test. It won't display or anything. It's not being pulled down with this post or anything like that, but, oh yeah, CSRF. So then we need to come into that edge form here and add our, was it 2 or 3? I think it was 3. Our CSRF field into there. No, evidently it was 2. There we go. All right, so now we should be able to do, this is a test. Go ahead, save that off, and got an error. Insert, and I need to turn this off. But I was working on the error page. Oh, root parent ID. Yeah, I just added that in. That needs to be defined too. Okay. That it should actually be nullable, because if it is the root, then you can't assign, it should be its own ID, but you can't assign it to that. So this should be nullable after all. So let's go ahead and rerun that migration. Okay. So now that's nullable, so we can go ahead and try to resubmit. So let's do this as a test. And there we go. All right, so it should have saved. We don't have it coming back or anything like that, but if we go into the database, change this back over to data, refresh, there it is. So next thing that we'll want to do is to, I guess, go ahead and get whatever I was doing with the identity rigged back up. So I'm gonna go check out what I was doing for that real quick. So let's go into app controllers HTTP. There should be a comments controller. See store. All right, let's see. Identity service.create takes in the IP and the agent. Agent is request headers, user agent. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that because I'll probably forget exactly what that is. And let's go back into the comments controller, plop that up here with the data that we have. So that's just the user agent string coming from the headers. And then I guess previously I had the post ID and URL. We'll grab the IP address too, so that's just request.ip. I can remember that much. All right, and then we'll want to grab the identity service. So because I do not remember at all what I had going on there, I just know that it was generating out a random name for users. So let's go back into here, app services. And then I have this identity service here. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the raw version of that. All right. And then let's go ahead and make that. So, all right. So app services, identity service, and paste that in there. All right. Now, I thought that, let's see, I do have a cache service, don't I? Yes. So we just need to import that. So I'm surprised that's oh, it's a promise. Okay, so that changed. So we just need to add an await here and make this async. And I'll just take that off. All right, there we go. And then it looks like I was using a unique names generator. So let's go ahead and install that. Okay. So in essence, what this will do is it will take in the, well, let's see, where's the root at here? Create. So it'll take in the IP and the user agent. It'll grab whatever the secret is. I don't remember. Oh, okay, a random byte string. And then it will attach that onto the user's cache. Oh, it's too early in the morning for this. Let's see. Yeah, so it's just checking to see whether or not there is already a secret. If not, then it will create it. And then if so, it will grab it from the cache and it will return that back here. So this is now async. So this needs to be await. And then we'll take the crypto, we'll create an MD5 hash, and that will join in the secret, the IP, and the user agent. And it will return that back. So then, all right, what was the call order for that? Let's see, so we do create to get an identity, and apparently that just returns back the identity, doesn't it? Okay. I wonder, this must have been used for something else. Generate name. Unless that's down in here. But I'm not seeing it highlighted. Okay. So let's go back into the comments controller then. Oh, I didn't save. Okay, so let's go back into the comments controller now. And I didn't save on the comment model either. There we go. Okay. And let's go ahead and get our identity. So const identity equals await identity service dot create, and that will take in the IP and the agent. Okay, and so now we can replace that here and just get rid of that altogether. And since that's going to be like that, we'll put that up there. And let's see, what was the other thing I need to take care of? Let's see, we'll also probably want that root parent ID to be provided if there is one, and then we'll tag that in here if there is one. Oh, that would be on data, so we don't need to do that. All right, and let's see, anything else? Reply to param, yeah, post ID was coming off the params. Okay. All right, and then we need to do the notification service at a later point in time, but all right. So should be good. Let's go ahead and get them coming down a little bit. So let's see, that's, I think, the current lesson page that I have rendering out here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do a separate query for this. So await post related. Do I not have comments defined? I probably don't. No, I don't. Oh, let's see. How do I block a user? Stop it. All right, well, hopefully I got all of them. I don't want people gotta be. All right, well, I guess I'll just ignore that, go back and delete them later. Let's see. Surprised there's not like a block option on there. There really should be. All right. So I need to go define the comment on here, on the post. So post model. Let's go define the comment in here. Scroll down to where we have these. So this will be a has many. So put it underneath the other has manys. Comment, public, comments, has many, type of comment. I don't think my auto import's working. Oh, there we go. Okay. I guess the wrong thing was highlighted. All right, so that should now be defined there. I won't worry about the inverse right now. I don't think we'll ever need it. So now it should be in here. There it is. And so we'll get the related comments. We'll go ahead and query it. We'll want where the reply to is null. So where null reply to, and I think that would be it. Well, no, well, all right, we'll start with that, and then we'll do an order by. There should be a created at on there that we will order by descending so that newer comments are displayed first. And then we'll do, that should really be comments, not just comment. Comments, there we go. So now that should be coming down onto our lesson page. So yeah, we'll put it in there. That'll be small enough to where that won't matter. So we'll put it in here, underneath here. So we'll just do a simple UL for right now, just to get them listing out. LI, well, really, I guess that would be an ordered list, wouldn't it? All right. And then Oh, I need to pass in the comments. So be up here. And since that's right off the root, we can just pass it in like that. And so we'll do an at each comment in comments. This will need changed a little bit in the future, but for right now, this will work. And then we'll do a simple just paragraph, and then we'll just drop the comment.body on there for right now. And we'll do a little h6 with comment dot, and then we'll put the identity. And then, well, I guess it would be, let's see, because it has a user ID, we'll probably want to preload the user. So we'll do that. So we'll do comment dot user dot username, otherwise comment dot identity. All right. And then we need to go preload that within here. I'm going to go ahead and drop this down. So query where null order by. Let's add our preload into it. And I probably need to, oh, no, there it is. I already did define it. Cool. User, and that should be it. I think so. I should get those displayed. Okay, let me make sure I save this. And let's go back into here. And all right, so it looks like it's coming through as null for the body, which shouldn't be right, but it did save as null, didn't it? Okay. So then let's see. I guess let's check and make sure that the name on this is getting plopped on there. Yep, name is body. Okay. And then I bet you I left it off of the only. Oh, comments controller, not the. There we go. Yes, I left it as comment, so that's why that came through as null. So let's go ahead and delete. Well, let's go ahead and plop a delete button on there. We can go ahead and do delete real quick. Oops. So let's go down back into here, and where we have it listed, let's just drop a form method equals post action equals, and then I don't have the route defined yet, so I'll need to do that. End form, and then we'll do I'll just manually define this button type of submit, and we'll just do that. And then we'll tack on a hidden input. Name equals ID. Value will be comment.id. And there we go. All right, now let's go rig up that action and define it on a route. So comments controller, we'll scroll down to destroy. Let's see, we're going to want request, response. And I won't worry about authorization there for right now. We'll just go ahead and get it going. So const ID equals request, request only ID. And then we will do await comment dot find. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do a straight up query delete. Where ID dot delete. And then return response. And for right now, we'll just redirect back. Just getting things working on the front end and then getting the CRUD operations actually working here. We'll worry about changing stuff back to API responses later on. So route dot delete. I don't know why I put a space here. There we go. Comments. And then, well, I guess that ID would normally be in the URL instead. So let me change that. Comments controller dot destroy as comments, and destroy. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. Let me go back over to here. Let me change this to a param. So we params, don't think we'll need request at that point. Const id equals params.id. And then let's go back down into here and change that to match as well. Okay, so we'll want route comments.delete. We'll want our ID here, so comment.id. And then we're going to want query string. Let me see. Is it? I think it's underscore method if I remember right. Delete. And am I missing a curly brace? It'll tell me if I am. So let's go ahead and try this out. I bet you I am. Oh, cannot find route. I bet you I didn't save. I did save. Oh, I named it destroy. Yeah. All right. I like that better. Let's stick with that. There we go. And there we are. We're back. We have this. We have our delete button. So if we click on that, oh, always forgetting the CSRF. All right. So let's tack that in here as well. CSRF field. Let's go back and let me refresh just to make sure that populates. And let's try that again. And there goes that comment, goodbye. And let's try creating, so this is a test, make sure that the body gets populated now. Well, that did not seem to work. Oh, maybe I didn't click the button right. All right. Yeah, so there we go. Now the body's getting populated. And then we should be able to check in the database, make sure that we now have a random identity being populated. Nope, that's not right. Should be a string, not like a hashed identity. I think. Let's see. So that definitely just calls await identity service.create, which is what I'm doing. I copied that over as is. Huh. Oh, okay. I see. I missed this line down here. All right. So, yeah. So if there is no user ID, then that's where I'm calling get by identity. That makes sense. Okay. So we'll come back up into here, and identity is that. And I was saving that into what? Property? Name. Comment.name. And I was not saving name if there was a user. Okay, gotcha. So let's go ahead and tack name onto here too. And so we'll do, let's just go ahead and tack user ID into a property. So we'll come up into here, const user ID equals auth user ID. Oop, there we go. So if user ID, then we'll make that null. Otherwise, we'll await identity service dot generate name. Oh, that must take something. Oh, get by identity is what I needed to call, and that takes the table name and the identity property. Okay. Dot get by identity, which will provide comment dot table for the table name and then the underlying identity. There we go. And wow, why the red squiggly? String null is not assignable to perimeter. Oh, okay, so just change this to undefined. Okay. And then was I saving the actual identity before? Probably, right? It makes sense too. Yes. Okay. So that should now be good. So let's go ahead and redelete that comment, recreate it, make sure everything's going okay again. So let's go back down here, delete you. Scroll back down to the bottom. There's another test. Bam. And there we go. Username is right. And then if we check in the database, we should now have a proper... Oh yeah, no names. All right, so let me log out then and try another comment. So I'm going to go ahead. I believe it's going to plot me back to the login page whenever I log out. Oh, the home page. Okay. No, I don't have that working properly. Okay. Where would that be? Let me turn back off the errors. Let's see if I can remember where that is. Yeah, right here. Let me just set that to true. Turn back on the normal debugging errors. Okay. Prepare. Oh, the author block. Okay. Oh, yeah, I was just using the auth user for that, wasn't I? All right. So I will wrap that up in an if. That's the quickest, easiest way to go about it for right now. So let's see. That was author card. Where are you? Actually, you should be able to drop that directly on author since author is populated here. I think author.avatar, maybe? At the very least, it'll be empty because author will be a string. So there we go. Okay. So let's scroll back down, and now being an unauthenticated user, unauthenticate, there we go. Test. Submit that. All right, seems to have worked. And oh yeah, I'm displaying the identity, so instead of the name. So let's switch that to where we are displaying the name. Where are you? Right here. So instead of displaying the identity, you display the name. And there we go. Chimpanzee Brandy 741. Branda? Okay. Regardless, unauthenticated users are able to submit an anonymous comment. Okay. So let me go ahead and log back in. Go back to that page. I kind of have a convoluted path to get to that page right now. There we go. All right. And I guess next, let's go ahead and I'm not going to worry about display. I'll worry about that off screen, like how things are rendered out. But let's go ahead and get a reply to functionality working. So that's where things get a little nested. So we'll probably want to split this out into a comment form component so that we can just drop it on and it will be there. So that we don't have to keep writing it over and over again. So let's go ahead and create a new folder within components called comment. We'll move this into here. We'll change this to list, or maybe base. Yeah, base. And because it'll be the base component for the comments. And then we'll switch this out into the form. So we'll add a new one called form.edge. We'll paste that in there. We'll save that. Come back over to here. Add that there. What all do we need to provide to that? So it definitely needs the post ID to come down with it. It should probably have a parent ID provided to it if there is one. In this case, there wouldn't be one. So all that we need to do is do the post ID here. And that's provided as the same as that. So we can just do that. And then down here, how do I want to display this? So let's wrap all of this up into a div to kind of encapsulate every. Oh, whoa! Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. I've got a. I went and did a ordered list with an li, and I put the looping inside of the li. All right. There we go. That's more proper. And now we don't need that div. We can just use the li. Okay, so we'll do another ordered list within here. I'm going to put a line break in there just so I can easily see where that is. Do a, all right, and this is where I want to change how things are being queried, because I want comments to just be all of the comments, and then we'll have this base worry about what should be displayed first and what should be displayed within. So in the comments controller, in the series controller for right now, because this is the page rendering this out. Eventually I will move this into a service. Let's go ahead and get rid of the where null, and instead let's change this to so let's see, it shouldn't just be a state check, because if the current user is the one that commented, they should be able to see their comment. And so here, let me show an example here. So if I go into the current site, and if I come into just a random post here, do the first one, scroll down, and this is an anonymous comment, and I post the comment, I should be able to see my I'm logged in. That's not very anonymous, is it? Comment logged in. Let me log out. I think this still redirects me. Oh no, okay, good. It's the behavior I should have on the new site too. It takes you back to where you are. All right, so this is an anonymous comment. So I should be able to comment that anonymously, be able to see it myself. So if we just do a simple state check, this won't come back at all, because it won't be public. It'll be in review. But since I'm the user that commented, I need to change that. That shouldn't come through. Then I need to be able to see the comment that I left, and I need to be able to see that, you know, a little warning here that states that this is pending approval. It's not being publicly displayed right now, and I should be able to alter it and delete it if I wish. So that's the behavior I would like to maintain. So let's try it. I'm going to cheat and check and see what exactly I was doing to do that. It was something with the identity. So let's see. If we come back into here, that should be probably on the posts controller on show, or maybe it's lessons. No. Show. All right, yeah, so we're grabbing the current user agent, grabbing the IP. It's not the best check, but it's good enough for my simple site. and then this is going to be vastly improved by that parent ID. So I started out, I just went like 3 layers deep on the comment system, and then anything below that, the front end took care of loading additional, which isn't much of a problem, but it'd be better to just load them all in one go, and then have the front end dictate how it should be displayed. All right. So back to what I was doing before. So, all right. So we have this simple where the state is public, or where the identity equals the identity up here. So all that we need to do is grab the create, provided the IP and the agent. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this line here, because it's going to be the same. All right, and at that point, it would be a lot better to just go ahead and drop this into a service. So let's do that. So in here, let's create a file. Comment service. Get for post or something like that. I was just, let's call it load. Yeah. All right, I'm not going to worry about naming right now. And then this should take in, I guess, the post ID for starters. And then let's go ahead and copy what we had in the series controller as a good base. So copy you, paste that in here. Oh, okay. So we can go ahead and just drop in the post record as a whole. So post of type post. Okay. And then that takes care of that. So then all that we need to do is take care of our where statements and then return that back. So we can just return directly back from here. All right. So let me go back. I just overwrote what I had copied from here. So let's copy this and paste this into here. All right, I'm going to switch this over to an HTTP service. So let's drop this into my HTTP folder. Just make it easier. I could provide these each time, but I don't want to have to remember this right here. Getting the IP address isn't too bad, but this I would forget. Now I could extract this out into a service, call that service each time, but I'm just not going to worry about it. And we'll just extend. Wow. Okay. Extends the base HTTP service. So now I should be able to do this. Oh, I need to take the static keyword off first. This .ctx request and just get that directly within here. And then I need to import the identity service as well and change this to this dot. Okay. So that should be good. And then down here, we need to do our where, and I'm going to do this as a callback. So we'll do query, and we'll do dot. Oh, I'm not doing this right. Oh yeah, no, query. There we go. Dot where. This would be state ID, not stat, state ID is states, or is it status? Where is it? Oh, state, yeah. All right, so what did I call it? Enum? I thought it was states. Yeah. I guess internally I called it state, but I need to change that naming. I also need to change my enums to be in the contracts instead of with an at. Okay, so states dot public or where identity, and we can switch that to there. Okay, so either the state ID should be public or the user's identity should match the comment's identity. And then just order by those descending. All right. So that should be good for starters. Let's go back into here and let's do const comments equals. Then we're going to need an instance of our comment service. So I'm going to do at inject, add a constructor, public define the comment service as the argument there. So that will be injected, and then we'll await this dot comment service dot get for post, and we'll provide it the post. Okie dokie. So that should be working okay. Let's go ahead and scope it out. Let's see what we got. Oh, I called the yeah, I changed the name of the component, but I didn't change how I was using it. So let's go back into, well, I need to save that first, and then we'll go back into our lesson page and update this from just comment to be comment.base. There we go. Okay. So there we go. Now we have this coming through. And now we need to add in a reply button. And you note that the anonymous comment is still coming through. I'm not sure how I was displaying the that the user was the current user. I guess I'll worry about that later. But you could tell that the fact that we have this here means that our OR statement is working within our query. So if we come back into the comment service and we comment this particular portion out here and we refresh, we should not see the chimpanzee. Yeah, so that's gone. So our OR statement checking the identity is working. And so let's go ahead and add in a reply button. And the reply button should only be there if the user is logged in. Yeah, that's really the only requirement. So the user just needs to be logged in. So in order to reply to something, you need to be logged in. Or, I feel like there should be an or statement there. Because how do you respond as an anonymous person? I'm pretty sure I just blocked that all together previously. Let me go test that out. So come down into here. Testing. Bam. There's my comment. Yeah, I don't have a reply button at all. I don't have a reply button to any of these. I have a login to reply. Okay. I don't know whether or not that's the behavior I want to keep. I guess that makes sense. That we don't have an anonymous person coming out here spamming everybody. So yeah, we'll stick with that behavior, I guess. So let's go back into our comment. Yeah, base. Here, and we'll do a sub li, and we need to change the way that this is looping. So up at the top here, instead of looping over all comments, because if you reply to a comment, it's going to go down up into here. Well, we'll do the reply behavior first, and then we'll worry about that actually. How about that? So let's add in a button down here that I'm not going to worry about the show right now. We'll worry about that later. Just get Alpine in here and make that nice and easy. But let's go ahead and drop the form in here. So at comment form. Okay, we'll drop the post ID in. And then we're also going to want to drop the root parent ID and the reply to ID. And we could set that up at the top here within the loop so that we can make things a little cleaner within our template. So we can at set. Already got the post ID taken care of. That's coming from the parent of this component. But the root parent ID will be the top level loop comment. So that's going to be this comment here. So that will be comment.id. And the reply to ID will be the immediate parent comment. So that's going to, again, for right now, it's just going to be comment.id. So reply to comment.id. As we get more nested, the reply to will change, but the root parent will stay the same. So that should be taken care of. Now we need to change this form here to accept the root parent ID and reply to and plop them into the form as well. So that, here, it's just right over here. I'll just do that. Okay. And there should be hidden fields. So we know that, well, yeah, I'll leave that the same. We'll make it visible just so we can see that it's there for right now. And then once we know stuff's working, we'll change it. So let's see, what was it? It was a root parent ID value equals root parent ID. Okay. And then we had another one that was just reply to. Ah, there we go. Okay. Put a break in there. And so now those should be on the form. We can also wrap those up in an if statement. Shouldn't have to though. And then we need to check and make sure that the comments controller is bringing those in. So we have the root parent ID being brought in, but we also need the reply to. Okay. And then those go directly into the body or data, which we then spread out into the comment. And then we'll worry about validation later on. So back to the form, everything should be taken care of. If we go back to the base, everything should be taken care of. So we'll just go ahead and test this out. So we have the form being displayed, not very nicely, on each one. You can see that the IDs for the root parent and reply to change for each comment here that we have. And then they're undefined for the root. So if we add in a root, so another root comment, we should be directed back, and we should have in. Oh, okay, so I guess I do need to actually wrap those in if. So instead of undefined here, we will want those to be null. Could probably just actually have that fall back directly in line. So within the form here, if it's not provided, let's go ahead and just have that fall back to null instead of undefined. Or that's nullish. Need or. Yeah. There we go. All right, there we go. Now they're null. So let's go ahead and test another root comment. Submit that. Up still. Invalid input syntax for type integer. All right. Let me go ahead and just leave them off altogether. It's probably coming up as a string. So let's take this out. Wrap this up in an if. If root parent ID reply to, yeah. Type the if statement, and then it completely dawned on me I had no clue what I was, or I couldn't remember what I had just copied. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and test that out. So if we have a root parent ID, then it should plop it in, otherwise it'll be left off. So let me go ahead and refresh, make sure that those are there. There we go. Now those are off altogether. So if we, another root comment, there we go. Yeah, so those were probably coming up as null strings, which makes sense. And so there's our another root comment right there. So then if we come into another root comment here and we type in this should be nested, let's plop that in here. And so we'll check in a database, but what I expect to happen right now is it should be listed, but it should be at the same level. Yeah, so you can see it right here. It's at the same level as all of the parents. It's not within the one that it's actually a response to. So let's check and make sure in the database that the reply to and the root parent ID actually populated. Oh, root parent IDs over here. Yes. So those populated. We do need to take care of the level index. We'll take care of that here in a second. But the actual behavior that we were looking for is there. Now all that we need to do is tell our front end how it should properly list those out. So we can actually extract this out into, well, let's go ahead and take care of the root level first. So what we'll want is so comments is just all comments, regardless of what it's a response to. So our reply to is within this comments array. So what we want is we want to grab just the root comments, and then we'll loop through those first. And then what we'll do is we'll provide in a nested component that is our list here, which will be the exact same as this. but we'll pass it in all of the comments as we go, and then it will just find the applicable level within those comments for what's being displayed. So here we want at set root comments, and we can grab that off of the comments. So comments dot filter. It took me a second there. So we'll do c dot. Let's see. This would be reply to is null. So we could just do a not reply to. All right, and then we'll change this. Well, actually, we'll extract this out into a list component. So we'll do a new file within here called list.edge. Paste this in here. Okay. And thinking, actually, we can take this out, make this even more simplistic because we're going to need that within here anyway. No, not necessarily. Okay, let's leave that at the parent level. So let's leave that here. And then what we'll do is at comment.list. So we'll provide it all of the comments, and then we'll also provide it the, what's the best name for this? Level comments, I don't know. But you get where I'm coming from. So this was just the particular node comments. Yeah, why don't we call it that? Sure. We'll stick with that for right now. And then within here, instead of looping over the comments, we would loop over the node comments. And we're also going to need to provide the root parent ID as well. So that would come from here, or no. That would not come from here. That would definitely need to be in here because these are the roots if the level is 0. So we'll also want to, well, the level would be coming off of the database, which we haven't taken care of yet. Okay, so let's not worry about the root right now. Let's go ahead and make sure that this will work for the children. And then we'll do child comments will be comments.filter c, where c.reply to equals comment.id. And then down here, we won't need to display this OL unless there are child comments. So at if child comments.length, then we will want to display that OL. And then we'll want to, let me not make that mistake again where I put my each inside of the li. At each, let's see, child in child comments at end each. And let's plop that li back in there. Actually, so what we want to do is reuse this component. So let me go back a level here. We don't want that loop to be in here. We just want it to be checking whether or not we have the child comments, and then it should just reuse this component. So component list, and then what we would do is provide it the same stuff that the parent level is providing it. So we're going to want so okay, I forgot one thing at the base level here. We also need the post ID to be carried down as well. So post ID there. Post ID, because the form here expects it, so we're going to need it at each level. And then we're also going to need to provide the root parent ID, and then the reply to, or no, sorry, the should just be the node comments next. Yeah, so node comments would then be the child comments that we grabbed up above. So there we go. I believe that should be correct. And then that would just re-render this entire thing for the next level. And then to make this a little bit easier to see, let's add a margin left of, let's make it decent size. Let's do 8. so that we can visually see it since things aren't pretty over here. Oh, can I read properties of undefined reading fill? Oh yeah, okay. Oh yeah, okay. So we also need to provide the comments as a whole here too. I don't know if that's where the error is coming from. We don't have a third level, so maybe not, but we'll try. Whoa. Okay, let me just click on it and go back to it. There we go. Okay, so that was what the error was. Cool. All right, so it might be a little difficult to see, but we have our root level right here. So this is the create a root level comment. This is just start a whole nother comment thread. Hey, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Is it Roman? No, I'm not using Bootstrap. This is Tailwind. I pretty much use Tailwind explicitly anymore. And then I'm just wrapping stuff up in my own custom components. So like if we take a look at the input component, I have that within form input. So you can see the Tailwind stuff is just right here. So I kind of extract out all of the Tailwind stuff so that it's not bloating everything. So that's my approach. And then all of this code is up on GitHub at the repository under JaegerCo. Let's see, it's github.com/Jaeger-co, and then I think it's Jaeger.co. Yeah, so all of the code can be found here as well. But so this is the root level. So you can see we have, oh, no, sorry, this is the root level here because we have the margin left. So this is the root level form, and then the root level starts here because that has the margin left on it. And then we have another margin left showing that this is a child of this particular component. So that seems to be working okay. What we can do is we can test another. So this should be level 3. So level 1, level 2, level 3. And post that in there. I'm actually going to add a border left to make it a little bit even more evident that what level we're on. So level 3, so we have an indent there, indent there, and an indent there. So that is indeed level 3 and is being shown appropriately. Let me go ahead and add a margin left on there just to make it a little bit easier to see even more. So margin left, or border left, sorry. Border, left, border, and then we'll do gray. Let's do 300. I'm not using the exact Tailwind colors. I'm using Radix colors. So the color level is a little bit different. So 300 is a lot lighter than Tailwind's normal 300. But all right, so there we go. So that seems to be working okay. We can go ahead and get rid of these inputs, make them hidden. So that's going to be inside of the form. So instead of type text, we will change this to type hidden. And hidden. That should make things a little bit easier to see. All right, yeah, that's a little bit better. And then we can go ahead and hide the, the form behind a reply to button or a reply button. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and take care of the nested level. So in order to properly do that, since we already have comments in here, there's two ways we could do it. We could grab it off of the current level. So like if I go into list here, we can grab it off of the current comments, but if there are no comments, then it would default to level 0. So we could do that. We would need to delete all of our comments to make that work, which wouldn't be too much of an issue. Or we could just manually pass in each time that we go down a list, we increment the level count. Not really sure which approach I prefer here. Either way, we would need to provide it into the form. So why don't we go ahead and go with this? So let's do within the list at set level index equals level index, and then default it to 0 if one's not provided. And then we will provide that into the, well, no, actually, because the form for the root is out here. So really that should just, that set should be in there, not out here. So let me take that off. And let's provide that into the form instead. And really we could make that a hidden input. So input type hidden name level index value equals, let me go ahead and just finish that off. There we go. Level index or 0. And then so we don't need to worry about it at the root level now because it will just default to that 0. I do need to save whatever I change there though. And then here, let's see, I'm going to break this down. It's starting to get a little bit lengthy. Okay, and let's add that in here. So root node, level index. And let's do what do I want to do here? You would start it at 1 because then this would be 0. No, this would be, yeah, no, this would be 0. But then that would make this need to be 1, so no, that wouldn't. There. All right. Because, no. Yeah, let's do that. So 0 would be for any here. 1 would then be for any inside of there. So that defaulting it to 1 sounds right to me. And then we already have level index defined, so we can just take that off, put that here. Okay. And that sounds right to me. I'm going to go ahead and make that a non-hidden component just so that I can visually easily inspect and make sure that that's what's. So let's just change this to type text. Okay. And so we have level 0 here, which is what we want. We have level 1 there, level 2 there, level. So that seems to be working just fine. Go back to level 1, 1, and okay, cool. So now what we need to do is persist that. So let's go back up to our comments controller here and grab that out of here. So level index that will get populated within here. So that should now be good. And then next thing that we would want to take care of is editing. Well, let's go ahead and hide the form first, because that way we don't have two forms being shown at the same time. One for editing and one for creating a response. So let's see here. So we'll take in, let's see, at the root level here, this is going to need to be in the list and dictated from within here. So we'll need to use a client-side thing. Wait a minute, do I have two indents here? I do. I'm not sure how that happened. So let's do, trying to think how Alpine is going to behave if I instantiate, like, what is it, X data on each li and nest that down. I don't think that would be very. I don't think that's how that's intended to be. Why don't we take it out the base here? Let's try this first, I guess. So, is it X init or X data? I think it's X data. All right, and then edit ID null, and yeah, I think that yeah, let's stick with that. And then at any point within here that we want to edit it, we'll have an edit button. So I'm just going to go ahead and see let's do this div class flex item center justify end. All right, and then we'll put, let's see, edit should come before delete. So we'll just put a button type button at click equals edit ID equals, and then we're going to need to provide Alpine what level we're at. Oh no, we can hard code that. So, okay, we'll provide that directly from Adonis. So we'll do comment.id there. Okay, and we'll do an edit there. And then let's go ahead and duplicate that again. And we'll want some way to Roman asks, can we use GraphQL with AdonisJS? I think so. I think there's a package out there for that. I'm not 100%. I've never tried, so I'm not 100% on that. But you can check packages.adonisjs.com. It'll have a list of packages that you can search through. Let's see if there's. I don't know if all of them are listed in here, but this will search both community and first party. So it doesn't look like there's any listed in here, but that doesn't mean that there isn't one. So I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that, but probably. I'm sure that there's a way to package that in there. I just haven't tried. Let's see. Where was I? So we're going to want a way to say, are you using or are you trying to create a comment? So we'll need like a create ID, I guess. Default that to null too. So we have an edit and a create ID. And so if we're editing, change the edit ID. If we're creating, change the create ID. And then Jeno said GraphQL is not built in. There's a third-party package, but last time I checked, it was under development, constantly changing. Yeah, so probably still in the works in like a beta state. Okie doke. So we have the create ID, edit ID that should be set. What we will do next is just display whether or not we're at that level. So let's see, let's do P with X text. I'm trying to think of how I should display. So we can't pass any of this down through Adonis because that's at the client side at that point. So within the form, we just need to kind of check whether or not this should, or we could wrap it. We could wrap it here and that would, yeah, let's do that. Let's wrap it. That way everything is maintained here and we're not doing another check within form to check and see whether or not a variable instantiated here or edited here. So we'll do div v, I think it's v show. No, that's view. X show is, let's see. So this is the reply form. So created ID equals, and then we can use Adonis to just provide what that equality check should check against. So comment.id and div, and there we go. So we'll work on, oh, I need to change that text to, we'll work on reply first. So we'll see whether or not this, all right, looks like we got an error. Create ID is not, all right, that might be an old one. Let's see if that's still relevant. Looks like it is. All right, I bet you it's not X data. I think it used to be, but maybe it's not anymore. Let me go check. I don't use Alpine all that much. Alpine.js. Let's see. Oh, it is X data. What am I doing wrong then? Create ID is not defined. So it's on the X show that it's complaining about it. Check, make sure. So it's just, it is here. Did I name it different? It is create ID. Is that what the error is coming for? Is it, or did I do created? I did created. That's where the, okay. So create ID. There we go. Let's change that. All right, there we go. Now we got our reply, edit, and they're not pretty, but they're there. So if we tack on reply here, boom, there's our form. If we tack on reply there, that form should go away, and there's the form here. Boom. I don't intend on doing a payment integration within this particular series. That'll be within something different in the future, though. I don't have a timetable for it, though. But there's a package I think Menzie created for payment integration. You can check that out on packages.adonisjs.com. I did see that in here. Yeah, payment. It's for Stripe. So you can check that out. And it should help you out at least decently. All right, so we can hide the level. We know that that's working. All right, so where do I, here it is. So we change that to hidden. And then I can get rid of my little to do here since we've done that. It's to did. And then add some spacing to those buttons so that they're not horrible to look at. That's in the list. So we'll just do space X3. Should space those out decently. Yeah. So that's good for now. And then we need to do an edit. So right now edit's not doing anything. Response will. Should be able to add a cancel button in there too. So we'll just pass that in as a cancelable. Is that how you spell it? Cancelable? I think so. Cancelable true. I don't know. Good enough for me. I'll know what I mean. So then within the form, we will do at if cancelable. We'll add in a little cancel button. So at button type button. And then the variant, I think I named secondary, and then I want to change this one too. I think that's right. And then we'll do margin left of 3, so that there's some space in between them. So we'll see if that renders stuff. Oh, got in there. What'd I do? Unclosed tag. Yeah, I did not close that, did I? End and cancel. Okay, so the root level should not have a cancel button, because otherwise, how are they going to leave a comment if they change their mind? But reply should, and all right, cool. That's kind of what I was going for. And then when you click it, it should reset the form and hide the form. Which there is no, yeah, I guess you could just grab the form. I don't know if there's a ref that Alpine has. I'll have to look. But we'll just take care of the viewing for right now. So we'll just hide the form on click. So we will want that to be passed in, because at this level, we don't want it to worry about what exactly is going on, whether it's creating or responding. We just want it to handle whatever it's provided. So here, within, let's go ahead and do the same thing here. Let's drop this down. This is starting to get a little long too. We will want on cancel or something of the sort. And we'll want to provide that. I don't remember how I do this. I think you provide it as a string. I did this in the studio portion, where you pass in a client-side function from the server-side edge. So let's see. This should be a function that, well, it needs to be a, hold on a minute. So it needs to be an Alpine function, not just any old function. So let's come back up into here. Maybe we change this to, here for right now, we'll just go ahead and just drop this down and we'll do it all in line. So cancel, make this a function that this edit ID equals null, and this create ID equal, create, there we go, ID equals null. We can also, since we only have, we'll only have one thing happening at one point in time, let's go ahead and do an edit function. Okay, that will take in the edit ID, and what this will do is it will set this, this dot cancel. So we only want somebody to be able to edit or create, show one or the other at any point in time. So that's why I'm calling cancel here to cancel out both the edit and create, and then we'll reset this dot edit ID equals edit ID, and then we will want a reply. We'll call that create, actually, since reply should be more of a method for creating. Let's see, and then we'll take in the create ID. Spell that right? Why does that look wrong? That's right. Create ID. This dot cancel again, and then this dot create ID equals that provided create ID. Okay. So now we have these methods that we can call from within here. So instead of this, we will change this to create, and then we will use edge to provide the ID that should be provided to the create call whenever that's clicked. And then the same thing going on here for edit. So, oh, missed the bracket or parenthesis. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and put a space there just to make that a little bit more readable. I think it's hard to tell what's bracket and what's parenthesis there. There we go. Okay. So that should work for that. And then down here, how I don't know if I used Alpine for that in the back end. I think it was just a native onClick function. But let's try to provide cancel like that. And then I guess since we're in the comment, we're in the form, we're going to know that we're using Alpine here. So we can make that judgment call. And then how do I provide that into this here, though? Let me take a look at my button component. Where is my button component? Here's my button component. Okay. So I know if I provide onClick, so we could do another form of that. So onClick would be for a native JavaScript function. If we want to do Alpine, we could do @click and then provide it on @click. I don't know. Or undefined. We'll stick with that for right now. And then, yeah. Anchor shouldn't probably need that. So that should be okay. And then we'll go back to the form. And so we'll do @click. Sounds horrible. And then that will be, yeah, we'll leave it just that. So come back up to the list and then we'll define that on the form. So onCancel should now be @cancel is what we should define that as, I guess. No, onCancel is more right. And we'll provide that cancel. So that will be an Alpine function. And so we can discern within here that that should be @click onCancel. I think I did that right. We'll see. All right, we got no edge errors, so that's good. So if we reply to this one and then we hit cancel, oh, thank goodness that works. Hey Malik, thanks for stopping by. So then we just need to do kind of the same thing. So whenever you submit a comment, well, it will rerender the page right now, so we don't need to worry about that. But we will want to do kind of the same thing whenever you click on edit. So we're going to need to add an edit form that pre-populates the current comments data and then pretty much just mimic everything else. So we need to go outside of the form back into the list. And so this is the reply. So I'm going to add a comment, make that a little bit more evident. So reply to form, and the edit form, probably want that to be above it. So edit comment form. Div, we'll want another xShow. This will be edit ID equals, and then from edge, we'll provide the server side comment ID into the client side. Alpine check there, and div, and then we're going to want our form. So comment form, for the most part, we're going to want the exact same thing. No. I guess those would all come from the comment itself. So let's go ahead and hard code those. So that would be comment dot root parent ID reply to comment dot reply to post would be comment dot, you won't want that to change, post ID. And then let's see, what else do we have? We have level index, that's never going to change, so we'll have comment dot level index. I'm wondering if I should just spread the comment into it. For the most part, these are one-to-one. And then you got the onCancel. So let's go ahead and try that. Because then the form itself will pluck everything off of this that it needs, so nothing will get provided to the client side that shouldn't be provided. And then all we need to do is provide cancelable true on cancel. And then we need a way to provide it what the action should be. So currently, if we take a look at the form, it's just going to hard code the store. So what we need to do is tell it whether or not it is editing a comment or whether it's creating a comment. So I guess we could just check whether or not we have a ID that passed through. That would, since we're spreading the comment out, that would take care of it. So we have the entire comment being provided. So why don't we do that? So within here, we'll do at set action, and we'll default this to route comments.store. So we'll default that to create, but then we'll do an if we have an ID, then we'll do our end if there. Set action, so we'll override it to be route comments dot. I don't think we have this route created yet, but this will be update. And then we'll need to provide the ID. And then we'll need to provide method. Did I spell that right? Yes. Okay. It's a little bit far away. The E looked like something else to me. Put. Yeah. Okay. And then we will overwrite not the curly braces, but just what's inside of here to our action. Okay, and then all of these should come off of the spreaded post. So those should all be just fine. Thank you, Malik. Appreciate the compliment. And then we need to take care of the body. So the value should be an empty string if there is not a body. So we can do body. And then we also want to get it in case whenever we do add validation, there is an error. So we could do, well, let's worry about that later because we're also going to need to show it. Because if we come back to an error, it's going to be hidden anyway. We'll go ahead and add it in. Flash messages get body. I think you can do that. Multi-level null lesson. I think you can do that. All right. Anyway, so give priority to the flash message. If our validation fails, then it will plop what the previous value was within here. Oh, wait a minute. No, we do need to change that, don't we? Well, check it up based off of the ID. So yeah, all right. Well, we won't worry about that right now. We'll need to check that based off of the ID to make sure that we're not just plopping that in every single form, but that we plop it into the one that was actually being edited. So worry about that later. We'll need to add a check to see whether or not the current form was for the edited, and then we'll put that in there. All right, that was a long circle. Where was I? Let's see. Input form body. So yeah, okay. So then we should just change this to be if we have an ID, update, otherwise create. Probably change that verbiage anyway in the future, but we'll leave that as is for right now. And I think that should take care of it. I think that's it. Main thing here is checking whether or not the body actually does populate and whether or not these here populate correctly. And that the action properly goes to an update. Oh yeah, we need to create that. So let's go into the comments controller first, take care of the update action. So here, get rid of that comment. That doesn't make any sense to do. And then let's go down to update. I don't think for this we're going to need edit or show. Creator index. We don't think we're going to need any of those. So we can simplify this controller a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to want request to get the body data, response. Eventually we'll want auth and params. Whenever we do authorization checking, we'll want auth there. But again, I'm going to go ahead and add a comment here so that I don't forget to do authorization. Okay, so const data equals request dot only. Again, we'll worry about validation here later. Let's just get stuff happening first. Post ID, body, root parent. Well, really, these things should never change. So why don't we just ignore them? Right? We just ignore them. The only thing that really should change is the body. Whenever you're updating, that should be it. And then we'll find the comment. So const comment equals await comment dot find or fail. Actually, we can do my lazy man's authorization here for right now. Let's do auth user. Assume that we have a user. Related. So then we are assuming we're restricting updating to the authenticated user so that they can only update theirs by doing the related off of the user, because now the user ID is going to need to match based off of the authenticated user ID. So it's what I call my lazy man's authorization check. So we'll start with this, and then I'll add in bouncer later on. So what is it we're doing? Comments. I don't have that on here. All right, so let's add that onto our user so that I can do my lazy man's authorization. User. This is going to be has many as well. So has many comment. Make sure that I get one that's going to auto import. There we go. Public comments has many type of comment. And then the property for that is user ID, so we don't need to worry about defining anything like that there. Okay, so that should be good now. So let me go back in here, make sure that the autocomplete is showing it. Comments, there we go, cool. And then we could do where ID is params.id, first or fail. So now that we have that first or fail on there, I would initiate the query. So now that we have the first or fail on there, if the authenticated user doesn't have a comment matching their user ID where the ID is also the param ID, then it will fail. It will throw a 404. So that's why it's kind of a lazy man's authorization check, because you're still authorizing the user by querying only the user's comments, but it's not, the actual authorization that you would want. But it'll work for now. So we have the comment. So let's do await, and then we can just do comment dot and then merge in the body that we're grabbing off of the request body. So we'll merge in data. That's an object there, and then we'll just call save. And that will take care of it. And then we can return response redirect back. And that's all that we need. So let's go ahead and define that route. So routes, put this before delete, route.put comments, the ID, comments, controller.update as comments update. And then I'm going to go ahead and put all of these comment ones on the same tab level. There we go. This makes it a little bit easier to scroll through your things and see what's all grouped together, because they're at the same indentation level for the controllers. All right, so I think that should work. I think we should be all good now. So let's go ahead and try to edit one. So let's start with a root one first. So let's do this. This is another test down here. And okay, so starting off bad by not having a state for our text area. Oh, I think I'm plopping the value in there wrong. It should go inside, unless this is trying to use Alpine. Oh, it is. X model value. Interesting. So looks like the post ID didn't go, the level ID, it was 0 anyway. But yeah, it doesn't look like anything's populating correctly as I had hoped it would. Oh, it's because we have a nested, I bet you, a nested. No, that should still go because this is being provided server side. So that should still work as I had hoped it would. So let's take a look and see if there's anything wrong. It might not, just the spreading might not work as I hoped it would. That might be the issue. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it before, so it's it was a try and see if it works thing, so it might not. And I'm talking about this spread right here where I'm spreading the comment record in. You would think it would work, but maybe not. So I guess let's go ahead and just try providing the post ID manually instead of spreading it and see whether or not it actually goes in there now. So let's do post ID comment dot post ID. Yeah. Yes. While I'm at it, let's go ahead and make sure that the edit is not, edit. So that should be, okay. Let's try that then. Let's see if that populates in the post ID within the form. So let's scroll all the way back down to the bottom, go back to edit. We expected that to be empty, but yes. So you can see the post ID now has a value. So it seems like spreading isn't doing what I had hoped it would. It's probably because of the getters. So if we serialize and then spread, I would anticipate that it should work then. So I would assume it's because of the getters. So let's go ahead and try serializing it. I think I spelled that right. We'll get rid of that. And let's see if, yep, there we go. Okay, so let's kind of walk through why serializing there worked. So if I were to come out here and we tack in and inspect on the comment itself, on the comment record, you'll see that we have a whole bunch. We have kind of a whole object set here just mapping stuff to Lucid. So this, every property that we would want to get is within attributes. So we could spread the attributes and that should work. But whenever you do your record, so comment.id, comment.whatever, it's using a getter to grab it off of the attributes. But whenever you serialize, it turns it into kind of JSON format. So it gets rid of all of that model data and it just returns back the actual serialized data here. So like so. Now, this is coming through as snake case. I think I'm going to change that to be camel case. Is that in this project that I did that, or was that in a different one? That was in a different one. All right. Since the form, yeah, we can go ahead and do that. All right, it doesn't take much to do. So I'm going to go back into my GitHub here, and I have a somewhere an Adonis camel case naming strategy example that has app strategies and a camel case naming strategy. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. There we go. Come back into here, create that structure. So app, new file, strategies, camel case naming strategy. Paste that in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just create a base model. So if, scrolled a little bit on accident and I misclicked, and there we go. And let's go ahead and create a base model. So we'll do app base model ts export default class app base model extends base model from Adonis. And then, oh, what was it? Was it it was naming strategy, but did it have a $sign before it? I can't remember. Excuse me. Let's come in here. Public static naming strategy. Okay, gotcha. And there we go. Now I will go ahead and apply that to all of my models. So that shouldn't take too long here. So we'll just get rid of that. I'm going to go ahead and define an import here. Import app base model. Okay, I'm going to copy that and then just tack app on in front of that. I was debating on whether or not to do a find or fail for everything, or not a find or fail, but just a find. went the wrong way. There we go. And then app collection, scroll to the top, plop that in there. App, get rid of that. Okay, comment, do that once more. So app, paste that in there. Okay, notifications, app, paste that. All right, post, about halfway through. Oop, there we go. Okay. Having my own base model will make things a little bit more extendable in the future too. If I decide to change anything else globally, I can just do it within that base model, and then we'll need to redo going through each model to apply stuff. So, whoa, there we go. 2 more, taxonomy and user. Okay. Fix that bracketing too. Okay. And the last one, app. Alrighty, there we go. So now if we come back and we take a look at the serialized data here, need a refresh. It's all in camel case. So I can provide stuff from the model, and now whenever I serialize it the same way, and I don't need to worry about whether or not you need to use snake case or camel case within the form. So let's see, I don't need that open, don't need that open, don't need this open. So now if we go back, take a look at our form again. Let me get rid of the serialization. Let's see, I did that in list, didn't I? So there we go. So we have comment.serialize so that we get just the properties that we care about off of this. And let's go ahead, scroll on down. And now if we hit edit, all of that stuff should be populated off of the comment. Yeah, so we have post ID. The level is 0 anyway, but then we're also getting this information here. And then let's go ahead and check the form. So method post comments. So the query string isn't getting appended on to set this to a put. Should be spoofing the method. Maybe I didn't put that on. Oh yeah, no, I didn't put that on right. So it needs to be another object level deep where that we have the query string and then the put. Okay. And where is that now? There it is. So now you can see it got underscore method equals put on there. So now whenever we actually submit this form, Adonis will match it to a put route. So let's go ahead and edit this. All right. And we'll also want to do that to where that only applies for the authenticated user. We only plop this in if the comment matches the actual user's ID, so that we don't plop a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff onto the DOM. So I'm just going to take on an updated here. Go ahead and try that out. So we got redirected back, and now you can see, boom, this dot updated. If we edit, there it is. We can get rid of it. And it should happen again. It should be gone. There it is. We can do that with a nested one. So if we edit this guy here, updated. Voila. And if we go ahead and reply to this comment, I'll tag on a level 4 within here so that we can check that within the database nice and easy. Make sure that level's getting appended on correctly now. So this is response level 4. So if we take a look at that within the database, let's go ahead and refresh. Should be this last one here. Let me verify that within the body. Yeah, the level 4. Scroll all the way over. Looks like it's set to 3. Should be 4. Maybe, oh no, I'm starting at 0. Right? So maybe that is right. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, okay, that's fine. It is an index. It should start at 0. So we're good there. So then we can edit that so that it displays correctly. Now that we have our edit form working. And you can see update comment works there. Now the next thing that would be nice to do is to take this to where it's not actually resubmitting the whole page again. And I think to do that, I'm going to try unpoly, but I've never worked with unpoly before. I've only seen Amin work with it. So I don't want to tread into that water on stream because I feel like I'd just be reading a bunch of documentation in front of you. So I'll try that on my own. And then we should be able to delete any comment. Now the delete behavior does need to change, so we can take care of that, I guess. So right now, if I were to delete a comment, first it would fail because it has other, like if I were to delete a comment that has children, it would fail because I don't do, what is it, coalescing? Deletes. So this one here has a foreign key referencing this one. So if I were to try to delete this one, the foreign key restraint here would prevent that from happening. And we can go ahead and see that here. So if I delete there, boom, violates foreign key constraint. So what we want to have happen is instead of, if I delete this comment, it should not, I don't want it to delete the 2 responses that it has. That's not what I want. What I would prefer is that it should just anonymize this comment completely. So it detaches it from the user, gets rid of the comment body, and it keeps everything else in the tree. However, if it doesn't have any children, then we can go ahead and just delete it outright because we don't need just a random comment here saying deleted. That doesn't help anybody. But if there was a conversation going on within it, then we want to maintain that conversation and just nullify out whatever that user's comment was. So let's take a look at that. So that would be within our comments controller underneath destroy. So you can see this is why we got the foreign key constraint. We're just simply trying to delete it without doing any additional child checks or anything like that. So instead of doing this, what we will do is we'll want to completely anonymize it. So we'll get rid of the identity. We will get rid of the name. And we'll switch the body to just be removed. We'll get rid of the user ID. And I believe keep everything else. How does Reddit do it? Do they keep the name in there, don't they? I don't know. Let me see what my current comment system does for that. It'd be interesting to see. So let me go ahead and is a test. Oh, I don't want to do this anonymously. Uh-oh. My toasts don't auto remove. Okay, let me go into here. Go down to my comments. All right. So this is a test. Go ahead and comment that in here. Let me go ahead and reply. This is a reply. Reply there. Oh, it's because I'm trying to respond to myself. Oh, no, it did go. Okay. And then if we delete this guy, boom. Okay, so it does keep the user information. It just deletes out the comment. And then if the user were to delete themselves, then it would delete out the user too. Okay. So I thought about it more whenever I created this comment system than I am right now. So we'll stick with what I had originally decided with the new system. So keep the user information, just delete out the comment body. And then if the user deletes their account, then you would then delete out the user information from the comment. So instead of deleting, we will await, or hold on a minute. We will const comment equals, and And then we don't want to do our lazy man's authorization checking, because if the identity matches an anonymous comment, that user would then be able to delete their comment. So not necessarily going to be an auth user within here. So we'll just do await comment, and we'll worry about authorization later with bouncer. Find or fail the ID, or sorry, the ID, and then await comment dot merge, and then what we'll do is just set the body to deleted, and let's do that like that, and then we won't await that because you don't need to, and then we will wait comment dot save. There we go. Looks a little bit better. All right, so all that we're doing now is just rewriting the body to deleted. Oh, wait a minute. Check and see whether or not it has children. So const has children equals await. Let's see here. Comment dot related responses. Query dot where state ID. Do I have states within here? Yes. Cool. Dot public. Not archived, maybe. Yeah, let's do not archived. So we're not states dot archived. And then here, in addition to changing the body, change the state ID to states dot archived. Okay. And then dot. I feel like I should just do a count here. Let's see. I don't do counts all that often. So count. Try that, I guess. No? Taking it. Oh, yeah, ID. All right. I don't remember how this comes back. So let me tinker with it a little bit. So node ace REPL. Let me start a REPL session. Load models. Okay. Await. Or let's do const comment. Let me try it out exactly how I have it in there, and we'll see how it comes back. So await comment dot, or sorry, model, models dot comment dot find or fail, and then let me go grab the ID of the one that has responses. So let's see, take a look at the parent ID. It would be good to go off of. So we have, oh no, root parent ID is changing. That should be the same for all of these. So I need to fix that. But looks like 6 is the one that we want to grab here. So let's grab 6. Okay, const count equals await models dot, or sorry, we have the, let's do comment dot related responses dot and so we're mimicking what we have right here. So query where not state ID equals states dot archived, which is 6. So dot query dot where not state ID equals 6. Hard code it because I don't have states here. And then what is it? Count dot ID. Okay. So we're just going to see how that comes back. Oh, I put it into a variable instead of just, let me go ahead and just have it plop it directly out here. There we go. All right, so Yeah, it does. Okay, so extras. And then it should be just .count out of there. So, all right. So let's change this to children, and then we'll do if children dot extras dot count. Oop. Then we'll do that. Else oh, it's an array. Oh, let's see. Can I do first? Let's see. Just try this again. To get back an object. It doesn't look like it wants to. I did it somewhere to where I just got back the number, but I forget what I did and I forget where I did it. But okay, so let's just grab that out of there. We're just gonna get back one response anyway with the count. And then we'll do that. Otherwise, we should be green and clear to go ahead and delete it. So await, and we'll do what we had before, or we already have the comment here, so we can just do await comment dot and then delete. So yeah, all right. That's not the prettiest block of code I've ever seen, but it'll work for now. So it will check whether or not we have any responses. Really, this should be the root parent ID. So it should check all the way down the stem. No, because then if it has a parent and you delete one of the children. Okay, so all right, let's stick with this. All right, yeah. Sounds good. So let's go ahead and save that and try it out. So let me go ahead and delete my tests on my production site. Always good to test stuff out in production. Highly recommended. And then let's go ahead and try to delete one of these. So if we go ahead and try to delete this guy here, that should be this button right here. Should get back the exact same tree, but that comment should now say deleted. And boom, there we go. So that seems to be working good. All right, so let's see what's going on with that root parent ID. Let's go ahead and tack that back to where we can visually see it nice and easily within the form. So form, and let's just change that root parent ID from hidden to type text so that we can see it, easily compare it at all levels. Scroll back down here, and I'm not seeing it. Maybe that's part of the issue. Oh, the form itself is hidden too. So, all right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get rid of the X show. That should be on. It should be on edit ID too. So let's go ahead and get rid of the X show here. Just get rid of that completely for right now. Okay, so here it's not provided at all, and it should be, I think. Maybe not? No, because that is the root. Okay. So shouldn't be there, but it should be here. 6, 7. So it should be 6, 6, 6, but it's going to the immediate parent. So essentially right now it's behaving the exact same as reply to. So if we looked over at it, it's probably 6, 7, 8. And yeah, it matches. So why? Oh, well, yeah, that's why. I never got rid of the set on it. So, all right. So from the base, are we providing it? No. And that makes sense because the loop for the parents is inside of there. So, okay. So, boom. So here we need to check whether or not it is the root. And so for that, you would check the reply to. So if comment dot reply to, then it should be provided. So root parent ID. Otherwise, it should be the comment.id. make sure that we're providing it to, yeah, so it would already be on the record there, so we don't need to worry about there, but it is provided here, and it is provided here. Okay. So that should be okay. Let's go ahead and see. We might probably need, yeah, since this is all pulling from the database already, we'll need to kind of, oh, right, I took out the show. Where was that? It was right here. Can I, oh no, I made a change. Do I have it? Oh no. All right, I'm gonna go back to where that is. All right, let me just go ahead and copy it, and we'll go forward. All right, go back before that, paste, and now paste. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete out all of our comments. It would be a good chance to test out the deletions again. So, well, hold on a minute. So on the delete, are we checking to make sure that that the children itself isn't? Because if I come up to here, I would anticipate delete should be hidden because it is already deleted. It's archived. But then if we delete these two, how would we tell it to delete this guy too? I guess that would be on the delete check itself. You should check the parent too. So here, so if comment dot, and here we can actually just do await comment dot, load parent in here we can wrap this up in an if. So if comment dot reply to, and then that was the if that I was going to write here, so I can get rid of that. Load in the parent, and then, or no, yeah, if comment parent dot state ID equals states.archived, then you would delete the parent too. Of course, that would need to happen after you delete the child. So let's let's change that. So const parent equals comment dot related parent query for just first. Okay, I think I'm doing that right. We'll see. And then down here, after you delete the child, if parent dot state ID, doesn't seem like it wants to. All right, so what are you telling me parent is? It's comment or null? Oh, it's promise. Await. Await. There we go. State ID equals states.archive. So if the parent is archived too, then we want to await parent.delete. So that should delete out that parent too. So let's go ahead and test all of that stuff out. So we'll delete this guy. Should go just fine. Oh. Missing model attribute comment.parent expects comment ID to exist on comment model, but it is missing, and that is because it is reply to. So that is on the parent relationship. So let me go into that model. So comment model. Just misdefined this. So let's go to parent local key. Maybe that needs to be foreign key. Maybe that does need to be foreign key. Maybe I got these mixed up. I don't think I've tried the responses query quite yet. Or did I? Is that what I tried in the REPL? Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, I think both of those should actually be the same because, yeah. Okay. My head was in a different spot whenever I wrote that up. Yeah, that should be the same. Okay. So now that should work as intended. Let me make sure I got both of those saved. Okay. There we go. So let's go back. Try that one more time. So let's see. We're trying to delete this whole tree here. So let's start at the bottom. Delete. There it goes. And uh-oh. All right, so that count check's not working as I had hoped because now that's just gone and deleted the... So let's go ahead and console.log out what it thinks that count is. And I'm just going to console.log out the extras object. We'll see exactly. Oh, extras. There we go. And so I can re-click delete, and it should just go through the same structure again. So it should perform the same check. So we should go right back to there. So let me go ahead and re-click delete there. Nothing should change. Should still just be delete. Okay. Check the console log. And, oh, I'm in REPL. Let me, all right, let's submit that and exit. All right, let's, oh no, over here. All right, so yeah, it's count and then it's a string of 0. So there is the issue. There's probably a way to get that back as a number, but I'm just going to do that like that for right now. I don't feel like looking it up. Okay, so now that should work. And it should now be gone because it doesn't have any children. And there it goes. We'll do that here. It should just immediately go. We shouldn't have to go through the delete step. And there it goes. And cool. Yeah, it actually deleted the parent too. So that is working as I had hoped. Okay, so now we are all at level 0. Back to our root parents not needing the IDs. I guess ideally what would happen is after you create the comment, it should go back in and fill itself in as the root parent because, I mean, technically it is the root of itself. I'll think about that a little bit more. But so let's take a look at, make sure that the root parent ID gets populated correctly for responses and that the level index remains correct because I don't think we gave the level index its proper testing before. So let's go ahead and add a response here. Testing, we can see that the root parent ID is going to be 6. Okay, add a response to our prior response. Cool, so it's still 6. So that seems like it's going to work okay. Testing 2. And let's add in a third just for chucks and giggles. Testing 3. Okay. So we got 1, 2, and 3. If we go into the database here, refresh, all of those have 6, and we have 1, 2, and 3 as the level index. If we respond again to, let's say, this level here, so we'll do testing A, should be 6, and the level index should be 1. So right there it is. And let's test that out. So the latest one should be 6 and the level ID is 1. Looking good. Let's respond to this one. Testing 2A. All right, should be displayed at the same level. Testing 2A. Oh yeah, no, I did respond to testing 2, didn't I? So then it should be back at level 3. Yeah, there we go. So that is all looking a-okay. If we delete this one, it should not delete the parent. Oh wait, I didn't do that check, did I? Parent, it's just checking whether or not it has the parent. Oh, the parent and the state as archived, but we also need to check the parent's children to make sure that there's no other children. So that would be a siblings check. So here, let's go ahead and just do a preload on there. Or with count, I guess. With count. Okay, and that would be responses. Or let's only worry about that if we get to the point where we need to worry about that. So down here, so await parent dot related, no, yeah, responses dot. So at this point, we would have already deleted the comment before. So let's do responses query dot count ID const, and we'll name the siblings equals. All right, not the prettiest block of code you've ever seen here, but I will spend some time and clean this up after the stream. Children dot extras count. Oh no, not children. Siblings. Okay. Bam. So if not, there we go. So if the parent is archived and it does not have any siblings, then we will delete. If the parent is archived but it does have additional siblings to the one that we just deleted, then we don't want to delete it. So we have our test case right here. So we will delete a sibling, 2a. So 2 should remain and 3 should remain. And there they are. And then if we delete this one, 2 is not deleted, so it should remain. And there it is. Okay, let's test this one other way. So let's add a sibling to testing, and we'll name this testing 2a. So we'll add back our 2a there. All right. So here it is. And let's delete our testing. So now let's delete it with the parent deleted. So, or let's test it with the parent deleted. Delete our 2a, and then the deleted should remain because we still have a sibling here. So delete 2a. And there's delete, and there's 2a now, or there's 2. So if we delete 2, then deleted should go, and we should only have testing a here. Ah, perfect. Cool. All right. So, been going for about 2.5 hours. So I think all I will do now is just get the form back to the state that I had it. Let's remove these console logs. And we'll call that a day. So go back. Let's see in the form. What did I do? Oh yeah, no, I just changed that from hidden to text. And that should be it. Should now have a working, it's all server side, but it's working, a comment system. And then off stream, I will try to figure out how to use unpoly for this. And if I figure it out and I don't get too far with it, I will stream that next. And then I intend on streaming also doing notifications. So we will add notifications to this as well. So it should be a good next stream. So let me go ahead and hit edit on that. Cancel, reply, cancel. All looks good. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you have a good day. See you.